Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Leah Reviews. I'm your host, Leah. And of course, I am going to be reviewing the recent episode that aired today, earlier today, when this is posted. More of Sonic Presents, the Chaotix Casefiles EP4. So this is where it gets really, really juicy. So I think, it starts off, with obviously with Eggman. He kind of he gets the water for Vector and Sonic because obviously they asked for water in the previous episode, you know. So I think, this episode is another really solid. Like Sega has just really been knocking this out of the park, and I really appreciate what they've been doing with this, and I love where this is going. Obviously, Vector decides, yeah, let's go investigate a gun base because Gun seems to know more, because Gun has been more very strict and uptight, and Vector's like, this is very interesting. And he kind of mentions like after the war they've been more uptight about their reputation. So I think it's just very intriguing that that Vector brings that up. So Vector decides, okay, let's go sneak into this gun base, and Charmy finds out, he finds out that there is actually a gun base near Spiral Hill. So they go to that base, and Vector's like, okay, we're gonna sneak in, you know. And then basically the plan was Espio was to sneak in. He's to turn invisible and sneak in. Charmy was to be like a distraction, you know. And then they did this funny reference. I was kind of like, I think it was bound to like come up at some point. Um and then I think it was Espio that literally said, "It looks like you found the computer room." I'm like, oh my gosh, they went there, didn't they? So I appreciate what they did there. I think what they have done with this like audio drama is just phenomenal. And like I said, I'm enjoying every episode that they've been pumping out. I think also well, unfortunately, Charmy's distraction doesn't work, and then, Vector tries to make a run for it, but he and Charmy end up getting caught, obviously. So, um, like me with Vector and Charmy captured, Espio decides to finish the mission on his own. So he ends up like in this like I think it's like some file center or something. And of course Rouge happens to be there. And like Rouge gives him like an interesting file that literally is headlining, like, well, not headlining, but it's like a code name called Red Spectre. So I was like, that's interesting. And Rouge is like Espio. What's interesting is that Espio, he kind of feels like he's losing his touch as a ninja. Um, and Rouge is just like kind of like criticizing him. It's like, are you sure you're really a ninja? And Espio kind of takes it very personally, because he has been feeling like, I feel like I'm losing touch with being a ninja, and then I think what's interesting is that during, and then it goes back to like not Vector and Charmy, they actually what do you call it? They actually get interrogated by Commander Towers, which I'm not surprised he made an appearance because, he's in the he's in the thumbnail, obviously. So he interrogates Vector and Charmy, and then obviously, it was already it was already like stated before, if you have been paying attention, about like Professor Tori, um that she does work for Gun. So from like Professor Tori like actually comes in when Commander Towers brings her in, and Vector obviously feels like, are you like playing us for fools? Because it's like we were just like a last resort thing, and obviously Vector is like conflicted on like, because obviously when Commander Towers went out for a bit, Vector like confronts Professor Tori, and she's like, I am on your side, but and Vector's like, you sure about that? Because it's like it kind of sounds like you're on Gun's side. So um I think it adds like an interesting character layer to Professor Tori because like Vector's like, I don't even know if we can trust her because she was kind of like she was kind of playing Gun's side and the Chaotix' side. So that's why Vector is so conflicted. And I like this drama, with what they did. You know, um, and of course, I think with what they did with Professor Tori, I think it's just brilliant, because now she's like, I am on your side. It's just because she's doing it for, from her perspective, she's seeing it as like a greater good that Gunn will do a better job at protecting the astroscopic lens than a museum. That's just from her perspective. So I kind of like how this audio drama really shows like, um, Professor Tori, because like I said, she's like in a gray, like she's not black and white. Like from her perspective, you got to really see from her perspective that like from her perspective, she thinks, oh, I'm doing the right thing. Like she's kind of playing both sides and what Vector calls a double agent. So, so I think what they did with that is just great. And then um, luckily, Professor Tori does like talk to Commander Towers to let Vector and Charmy go, release them from interrogation and all that. So basically they end up going um and then Vector kind of clues in Espio on everything that happened to them, and Espio has the file that Rouge gave him. And Vector and Espio really get into really like a really tense argument, because like Espio has really been feeling like he hasn't been living up to his reputation as a ninja, and the Vector's like, oh, it's like, oh, you think you got it bad? It's like, and then they start arguing, and then Charmy is immediately like he hears something's wrong with the Chaotix copter engine. Like it's obviously malfunctioning, and Charmy's trying to get their attention, but they just keep going at each other, and it's like, wow, this is so intense. It's so dramatic, and I kind of love it that like Vector is kind of like, SP is like, oh, it's like, it's so bad that you took a job from a very skeptical, person. And then now we're like stuck in this like ish conundrum now. So, and it was so tense and I kind of like that. And obviously the chaotic copter is going down, and then that's where the episode ends. So it's like, wow, it's like I think, they do such a great job, and I want to know more about what's this Red Spectre in the specific file that Rouge gave Espio. Like there's so many more questions. Like I kind of like, like I said, with what they did with Professor Tori, because um obviously, if you've been keeping up with like what they revealed about Professor Tori before, she works for Gunn, and she's also a professor, so having this come full circle in this audio drama, and like now the chaotics is they're like trying to figure out like, well, Vector especially, like I said, he's trying to figure out, whoa, um is Professor Tori really on her side, or is she on Gunn's side? Like she is like a morally gray character, and they're really showing us through audio that from her perspective, she believes she's doing the right thing, and I'm super curious to know where this story goes now. Um I truly enjoyed this episode, and yeah, that's the end of my review for episode 4 Sonic Presents the Chaotix Case Files. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on that bell notifications for upcoming live streams and video content. See you soon, everyone.